Daf Yud Dalet Amud Beis, 3 lines from the top at the 2 dots. The Mishnah said that the Kohen Gadol, during the 7 days that he's sequestered, he does the avodah and to practice to make him rogel for Yom Kippur. And it says the order of what he does, it says, Umaktir Sakateris Umetivus Aneris. It says he's maktir the keteras, he burns the keteras, and he prepares the neiros for the menorah, for the burning of the menorah. So, Alma keteras bereshim haraneris. So, apparently we see from here that first the keteras is burnt, and then the lamps are prepared, the neiros are prepared. We have the Mishnah in Masechet Yoma that says a different order. It says Misha Zolcha B'Disha Mizbeach HaPnimi, the one who has Zayich on the girl, who is Zayich on the girl to do the clearing of the ashes of the Mizbeach HaPnimi. Misha Zolcha B'Menorah, and then the next girl is who is going to be Zayich to do preparing of the Menorah. Misha Zolcha B'Ketayras, and then it says Ketayras. So it says in the Mishnah in Talmud, it says the order, the reverse. It says that it's first the Neiros and then the Ketayras. Our Mishnah says the Ketayras and then the Neiros. And there, in the Mishnah in Talmud, it says that here, first the Neiros, Misha Zalcha b'Menorah, and then Misha Zalcha b'Ketayras. Amar Ravuna says, Man Tana Talmud, who's the Tana of Talmud? Rav Shimon Ish HaMitzvah. The Tana of Talmud is Rav Shimon Ish HaMitzvah. He is the Tana of Talmud. Rav Taisa says that Ravuna had a Kabbalah that there was a machlokes between the Chacham and Rav Shimon Ish HaMitzvah. Now, as we'll see in the Gemara, it's not perfectly clear which Tana said what, but we do have a Kabbalah that there's a machlokes. So therefore, Rav Huna is suggesting that the Tana of Talmud is Rav Shimon Ish HaMitzvah, and he has the order that the Neiros is first the Menorah and then the Ketayras. But our Mishnah is a Chachamim who argue, and they say first the Ketayras and then the Neiros. But we learned just the opposite, that Rav Shimon Mitzvah says the opposite from what the Stam Mishnah and Talmud is. So you can't say that Talmud is Rav Shimon Ish HaMitzvah, this not, because we learned in Mishnah and Talmud, the Mishnah says that the Kohen that does the zrikas of the dam of the Talmud, so he comes to the Keren, that is Mizrach's finest, the northeast corner. The dam that's applied, the dam of the Talmud, is Shtaim Shein Arba. It's on the 2 corners. It's on the corners that are diagonally opposite each other. So he does the first corner that he comes to is the northeast corner. He does it on the corner, so therefore the blood reaches the north side and the east side of the Mizbeach. And then he goes around and he goes to the corner that's diagonally opposite that, and then he goes nice and he does the zrik of the blood on the northeast. Then he comes around in circles and he comes to Ma'aravis Draimis. He comes to the southwest corner, which is the opposite, and nice and Ma'aravis Draima. And then he does the zrika on the southwest. So therefore, the blood now reaches the south side and the west side of the Mizbeach. So therefore, the blood is on all 4 sides of the Mizbeach. It's Shtaim Shein Arba, it's not 4 applications, it's 2 which are 4. And we learned on a Brisa on the Mishnah, Rav Shimon Ish HaMitzvah Mishana b'Talmud. He says that in the Talmud, that's not exactly the way it's done. It's done by an oila, but not the Talmud. It's not exactly done that way. How is it done by the Talmud? Is Mizrach is Tzfainis, and it's Mizrach Tzfaina. He comes to the northeast and he does the application in the northeast, as we said. However, on Ma'aravis Ramyas, he comes to the southwest. Now here's a change. Nice and Ma'arava. First, he does it on the western wall, nice and Draima, and then he does it on the south. So we see that Rav Shimon Ish HaMitzvah is not like the Stam Mishnah in Talmud. He's not the author, the Tana of the Stam Mishnah in Talmud. So it's not that way. So Elam or Rav Yochanan says, Man Tana Seder Yoma Enochanami. The Seder of Talmud is not It's not Rabbi Shimon Ish HaMitzvah. But who is the Tana of Yoma? Who is our Tana? Who is our Tana? Our Tana is Rabbi Shimon Ish HaMitzvah. The Tana Seder Yoma, the Seder Yoma is Rav Shimon Ish HaMitzvah. So therefore, that's how we resolve the stira. That we have an our Mishnah that we say that the first is the Ketairos and the Neiros is Rav Shimon Ish HaMitzvah, whereas the Mishnah and Talmud, which has the order reverse, is the Chachamim. Well, we're going to have a stira in Seder Yoma itself. There's a stira between one Mishnah and the other Mishnah of Seder Yoma. This nan, we learn, Payas Hasheni, what is the second Gairo? Is Mishaychet, who does a shlit, Mizayrik, who does a Zrika Sadam, Mimedash Mizbeach Pnimi, who clears the ashes from the Mizbeach Pnimi, the inner Mizbeach, Mimedash and Neres, who clears the ashes from the Naira, Umi Male Vorm Lakevesh, and who brings up the limbs to the Mizbeach. That's the second one. Paisa Shlishi. The third one is Chadash L'Kteres Bo V'Afisa, as for the Kteres. So we see from here that the Menorah was before the Kteres. So it seems to be a stira in the Mishnah and Yoma itself. We just learned that the order is Ketairos and then Neiros, and apparently we see from here that the order is the Menorah and then the Ketairos. Amar Abaye answers like Kasha. Kan ba'atav shtei Neiros, kan ba'atav chamesh Neiros. The Neiros were not all done all together. There was a hefsek in the Neiros. So first five of the 7 were done, and then there was an interruption, and then there were the last 2. So, therefore, we can resolve the stira. The Ketairos was after the Neiros, but it was also before the Neiros. It was after the Neiros, after the 5, after the preparation of the 5, but it was before the preparation of the 2. So, therefore, when it says over here that the Ketairos was in the Mishnah, we just learned that the Ketairos was on the Payas Shlishi, the Neiros on the Sheni, that's referring to the 5. In our Mishnah, it's referring, when it says Ketairos first, it's referring to the Ketairos come before the 2 Neiros. So Tosfos has the kasha, well, if that's the case, then why did we not use this answer? Why isn't this an acceptable answer to resolve the stira between the Mishnah and Talmud and the Mishnah and Yoma? Why can't we resolve the stira over there as well? Why do we have to say it's Rabbi Shimon a mitzvah and our Harabana? Why can't we say that it's the same way, that it's a difference between the 5 Neiros and the 2? Tosfos answers that in any event there would be a stira between the 2, so they were forced to say that they're different mandomim, because there's a difference in when the zrika is done. Because over there it says the zrika's damatomid was after the dishim mizbeach pnimi, and here it says the zrika was before. So in any event there would have been a stira. So we're therefore forced to say that there's 2 different mandomim, Rabbi Shimon Ish HaMitzvah and Rabbanan. But in any event, now we're saying that to resolve the Mishnah and Yoma, we're talking about the difference between the 5 Neiros and the 2 Neiros, and there was an interruption between the 2, between the preparation of the 5 and the 2 with the Ketairos. Who you mean to say that they were interrupted, they were separated by the burning of the Ketairos? The Gemara, Abaye lists the order of the Talmud, of the Avodah, and he had the Kabbalah that this was the order, and he had Bedama Talmud Maflaku, and the way he has the order was that they were interrupted, the 5 and the 2 Neiros were interrupted by the Zrika of the Dama the Talmud. Amre loy kasha. My answer is not a kasha. Hay la abashol hal rabbanan. There's a difference between abashol and rabbanan if what he was mafsik the Neiros with. Was it with the Ketairos or was it with the Dam? This he should not prepare all 7 lamps and then do the burning of the Ketairos. Ella, what does he do? He should burn the Ketairos, and meaning to interrupt, separate the preparation of the 5 lamps and the other 2. He should separate with the burning of the ketairis. He should burn the ketairis after preparing the 5, and then the remaining 2. Mary says no. He should prepare all 7 and do the haktorah, the burning of the ketairis, after. So it's a machlokes between them if the ketairis separates it or the dam. My time in Abishol, why does Abishol say that the ketairis is after all 7 neiros? Because the pasuk says, it says every morning when he prepares a neiros, and then burn the ketairis. So the pasuk says, "V'hikter lav aron ketairis soim b'boiker betivas and neiros yaktirenu." So the mashmos is that he does the burning of the ketairis after all of the neiros. So therefore he does not interrupt the neiros with the ketairis. The ketairis comes afterwards. Marabanan, how do they learn it? Michael Merachman. What is the Torah saying? The Torah is saying, they're saying not that you do it afterwards, it's that when you're doing the hatava, then the ketairis is already burning. It's already burning when you're doing the preparation of the neiros. It's already burning, meaning the ketairis is first. So it says not that the order chronologically that the ketairis is after, it's already burning when you do the hatava. Because if you don't say this, well, it says in the afternoon, then he says in the evening, it says when he is mala the lamps in the afternoon, he burns it. You mean to say that if it's referring to the order, it means that the neiros are first, and then the lighting of the neiros is first, and then the burning of the ketairis? You can't say that. And afterwards, the afternoon, the evening ketairis is burnt after the lighting of the candles. Previously, we were talking about the morning, but here in the afternoon, you mean to say that the burning of the ketairis is after the lighting of the candles in the afternoon? And maybe you'll say, yes, that's true. No, you can't say that. But I'll tell you, we learned the Brisa, it says that the lamps are arranged and they're from the evening until the morning. So we learn out the halacha, that means tein lo midosa, put enough oil in the menorah that it should be able to enough oil that it should burn and continue to be burning throughout the whole night until the morning. Even on the longest nights, that there's enough oil that it should continue to burn even through the longest nights. Dover acher, another limud, and this is what Nagaya to us, it says me'erev ad boker, from the evening to the morning, and l'cha'avodah shekshera me'erev ad boker ela zu bilvad. There's no avodah that's kosher throughout the night from the time you light the candles. There's no other avodah that's kosher for the whole evening. So it can't be that the ketairis is after the neiros, because we have a limud that this is the last avodah. So elamai kol merachmana. So what are you forced to say? Therefore, that when it says that bahal lois aron is a neiros bein harambayim, what it means is that elamai kol merachmana beidan hadlaka makta ketairis. At the time that you light the candles, the ketairis is already burning, meaning it's burned beforehand. Here also at the time of the hatava, of the preparation of the lamps, then it's also that the ketairis is already burning. So that's how the Chacham understand it. Abishol says, no, that's different. Shiny hasam dachsiv oisai. Over there in that pasuk it says oisai. The pasuk says oil moy mechutz l'paroiches asher al ha'edus yarech oisai aron avana me'erev ad boker. L'fnei Hashem chukason l'dores hameis b'nei Yisrael. So it says oisai, meaning that it teaches us that there is nothing that can be burned after the neiros from the evening until the morning. Therefore, we're forced to say that the burning of the ketairis, it means over there that the ketairis is already burning. But that is not the simple meaning of what we would say in the pasuk. So if we're not forced to say that, we wouldn't say that. So therefore, in the morning, we would say, no, it doesn't mean that it's already burning. It means after the hatava, then they did the burning of the ketairos. So Abba Shaul says there's a difference between the morning and the evening. We're forced to say it in the evening, but we wouldn't say it in the morning. Praktai says, why don't we have a simple solution and say, well, there's a difference between the hatava, the chomesh neres, and the 2 neres. And say that what it means to say is, yes, it's after, it is after, but it doesn't mean it's after the 2 adal 7. It means when it says that the ketairos is after, it means it's after the 5 and not after the last 2. So therefore you could learn it and in the way that it is after the 5 and means afterwards you're makter the ketairos. So Tosfos says that in any event it wouldn't be an acceptable teretz because we darshan b'bayker that we say that there's a splitting up of the neres. There's the 5 and there's the 2. So when it says veitiva, it's hanerois, it's also talking about the shtei neres. So not only the 5, and therefore if we would say that it means after, it would have to mean after the 2 as well. So therefore, this is the machlokes that between them, if you split it up with in the morning, if it's split up with the ketairos, or way Abba Shaul says no, the ketairos comes afterwards in the morning and it's interrupted, it's separated by the dam.